The India AI Impact Summit gathers momentum in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is now all set to anchor a key diplomatic event this evening at Bharat Mandapam. Shortly from now, he will be receiving visiting dignitaries. He will also receive 20 heads of the state, and this is all part of a special dinner that's been organized for all the delegates attending the India AI Impact Summit. An official banquet would also be held, and this clearly would also be a precursor to that big event happening tomorrow, the main day of the India AI Impact Summit, a platform for informal but crucial conversations between political leaders and technology decision makers. With the India AI Impact Summit now underway in New Delhi, the spotlight has now shifted to a key diplomatic event on the sidelines, just ahead of what is expected to be the most important day, packed with heavyweight keynote speakers. That's going to happen tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to host a high-level dinner for global delegates at the iconic Bharat Mandapam. Now, the 5-day summit running from the 16th of February to the 20th of February has brought together top political leaders, technology CEOs and AI experts from more than 100 countries, and this has positioned India as at the center of the global AI conversation. Now, the timing of the Prime Minister's global outreach is significant. The summit has already seen major announcements, with IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav projecting more than $200 billion in AI and data infrastructure investments over the next 2 years. Now, with global names such as Sundar Pichai scheduled to deliver keynote remarks and leaders such as Sam Altman part of the broader summit ecosystem, the dinner today offers a quieter but influential space for leaders to deepen conversations that could shape India's and the world's AI trajectory. Let's first listen in to reactions that came in from the Minister of IT, Ashwini Vaishnav, MOS Jitin Prasada, and several others who attended the summit today.
We in India are very focused on AI in the edge, AI for use cases, AI for solving real world problems, AI for improving the productivity in the enterprises, AI for population scale problems like healthcare, like agriculture, like climate change. These are the things that we are focused here in India. And this AI summit brings that opportunity. And as we discuss various technical matters, I will request the topmost brains which are present here to please do bring some solid, concrete suggestions on how to make AI safe.
दोनों कर देंगे। आज हम लोगों के लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है कि ये एआई इम्पैक्ट समिट जो भारत की धरती पे हो रहा है और हमारी झोली में आया है, ये आप समझिए जैसे ओलंपिक्स किसी देश को मिलता है, उसी तरीके से एआई इम्पैक्ट समिट भारत को मिला है। और ये जो यहाँ पूरे विश्व के देश और दुनिया की नजरें लगी हैं, वो यही देख रहे हैं कि इस इम्पैक्ट समिट के क्या आउटकम्स होंगे, क्या यहाँ चर्चा होगी और भारत की धरती पे आने वाले समय के लिए एआई का डिस्कोर्स, इसकी दिशा और आने वाले फ्यूचर में ये कहाँ क्या रूपरेखा लेगा, वो यहीं इस भारत मंडपम से तय होगा।
I congratulate India on the arrangements of this AI summit. It's great that we have now the first AI summit in the global south, and that India is taking that responsibility. So that's really good.
The Gemini app, our personal AI assistant, is growing rapidly across the world, and India is among our largest markets. It's available in 10 languages spoken in India. Underlying this progress is a world-class infrastructure. Last year, we announced a $15 billion AI hub in Vizag.
That's the Prime Minister at the iconic Bharat Mandapam, and that's Ashwini Vaishnav, IT Minister, also the Minister for Information and Broadcasting and Railways. On his side, you also have MOS Jitin Prasada there. He's the MOS IT, and this is the Prime Minister all set to attend that very important dinner with delegates from 20 different countries and also tech CEOs. And this is an important discussion, important dinner that will also have leaders engaging in informal conversations that is expected to shape the trajectory of future AI in the world. The iconic Bharat Mandapam there, also the venue for the historic G20 presidency that India hosted in 2023. The Prime Minister has arrived and he is expected to participate in this dinner and informal conversations with all the delegates, the important delegates of the India AI Impact Summit 2026. Remember, this is all part of the India AI Summit, and this is a precursor to the main event that happens tomorrow. Tomorrow is when we will witness many keynote speakers, from Sam Altman to several others who will be participating in this event. Sundar Pichai met the Prime Minister today morning. There, the Prime Minister arriving at Bharat Mandapam for that important high-level dinner, accompanied by Ashwini Vaishnav, the IT Minister of India, and also MOS Jitin Prasada. AI Summit showing India's mood when it comes to its ambitions. It really wants to be a leader, and that's why a lot of focus has been on showcasing innovation on AI across the world and also on conversations that dominate the AI landscape. Investment deals and partnerships are also likely to emerge behind closed doors. Remember, the Prime Minister and the IT Minister are also engaging in a lot of bilaterals that have happened in the last few hours. My colleague Aditya Rajkol, who has been tracking this event very closely, joins us now. Aditya, explain to us, the Prime Minister has already arrived at Bharat Mandapam. It brings back memories of that very historic G20 presidency. Tell us the importance of this dinner, because informal conversations often lead to very important decisions. Who are all going to participate in this dinner? What is likely to happen in the course of the next few hours and tomorrow? Okay. Indian Ambassador, former Indian Ambassador to France, Javed Ashraf joins us. Thank you, Ambassador Ashraf, for joining us. We are talking about the dinner that is expected to take place. The Prime Minister is hosting this. Informal conversations play a very important role when it comes to shaping, the tech landscape of any country. Help us understand, this is just more than protocol, isn't it, sir?
Well, thank you. I'm also speaking to you from my office in the Bharat Mandapam complex, since I've taken over here as chairman 2 months ago, though we are the venue provider, not really the organizer, which is the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. I think this dinner is extremely important. Every summit internationally, globally, involves a dinner where the leaders have an opportunity to interact more informally, discuss things that will not be easy to say, or they'll have the time to do so when they have structured statements to make at the actual plenary or leaders summit, when they just get about 10 minutes speaking slot. Their speeches are usually prepared by their aides. So this dinner is really an opportunity when you can hear, when the leaders express their views, their minds, their thoughts, they explore opportunities, and I think this dinner table is really as
Ambassador Ashraf, that's the UN chief arriving. We also saw IMF chief Kristalina Georgieva just meeting the Prime Minister. Please go on, sir. Why is this closed-door engagement so important and pivotal when it comes to translating those optics that we saw to real outcomes?
It is important because sometimes some of the issues are actually thrashed at the dinner tables, whether it is a bilateral summit or whether it is a plurilateral or multilateral summit. The leaders have a chance to speak, as I said, things in a more informal setting, can go deeper into issues, exchange views. It's like a regular conversation that you and I can have at a dinner table. Whereas when you actually have a formal structured setting, as we will have tomorrow, leaders make set statements.
Right.
So this is a good way to set the stage for the meetings tomorrow.
Ambassador
And this will
Ashraf, you know,
also have an
it's very
impact.
curious. I'm very curious that the IMF chief has just met the Prime Minister, and it's very important to understand that at one point it was believed that India is not in that top league of AI when it comes to developing applications such as ChatGPT or DeepSeek. That was one question that was continuously asked of us. Still, the minister told the world that we are looking at different things. We're looking at sector-specific AI, and we're looking at problem-solving apps when it comes to AI. Does this AI summit also look at breaking those myths when it comes to India's approach to artificial intelligence?
First of all, I'd say that Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi had in the AI Action Summit in Paris in February last year, had clearly laid out a course for the world, which said that let's move away from the conversation around the race, so to speak, an arms race for larger LLM models and these very sort of hyperbolic pronouncements around these generative AIs, and especially the B2C space, as you've seen, for example, ChatGPT or Gemini. That let's focus on how AI can do what it should do, which is to enhance the quality of life, solve problems that haven't been solved, and generally contribute to progress of humanity at large.
Right.
And that is the central message. So one is that the fact that India is hosting it has shifted the conversation around artificial intelligence from the capitals of the north to the capital or what is considered a global south, the largest democracy in the world, the laboratory of some of the most transformative experiments around the use of digital technology for solving social problems, sustainability issues, and overall transforming the life.
Ambassador Ashraf, that's a very important point that you're making. Aditya Rajkol joins us from Bharat Mandapam as well. He's been covering this event. Ambassador Ashraf, do stay with us. We'll just come back to you. Aditya, help us understand what is the mood like at Bharat Mandapam. This, in some ways, makes it clear that tomorrow is going to be the most important day. What kind of conversations do you expect? And of course, how do you expect them to translate into policy outcomes?
Well, thank you, Vasudha. This special broadcast comes live from the Bharat Mandapam, where right behind me, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in fact receiving the world leaders, 20 heads of the states. Also, the UN Secretary General just minutes ago welcomed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is, of course, soft power at its best, but there is much more than what we are seeing in these visuals, which is a lot of color, a lot of bonhomie that the Prime Minister has with global leaders that we have seen in the last decade or so. But India's top focus right now is India emerging as a hub of artificial intelligence. And that's going to be the top topic of discussion tomorrow when the formal inauguration happens, along with the French President Macron and the Brazilian President Lula and several other heads of the states and 45 ministerial delegations that have arrived here from different countries. The top focus has also been on Europe, where at least, 26 countries have been represented, the data that I have right now in my hands. It says that there has been participation at the very top level from 11 leaders from the European Union, which includes France, Netherlands, Spain, Croatia, Greece, Serbia, Slovakia, Estonia, Finland, Swiss Confederation as well. So it's a huge focus on India-Europe ties, because remember, just a few weeks ago, we had the mother of all deals, the India-EU FTA Vasudha. And apart from that, the big talking point, the big breaking news that I have is that in the bilaterals that India had, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had with his counterparts and heads of states of European countries, what has been conveyed is that unanimous support, a huge unanimous support will be there for an early implementation of an India-EU FTA. Remember, the signing ceremony and the announcement, a political declaration happened just 3 weeks ago, and now the formal, thing would be conveyed, and they have assured the support for its early ratification in the European Council and the European Parliament. They are also keen to enhance the trading ties with India, taking the advantage of the FTA, creating new opportunities and jobs for the people. So right now, a lot of color and celebration.
Would you like to talk to him, ask him any questions, regarding the diplomatic signaling by India when it comes to the AI summit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ambassador Javed Ashraf, thank you very much for joining us. I'm coming to you live from Bharat Mandapam. When we talk about AI in India, we have traditionally spoken about the service industry, but also about the scale. And that's what Europe and most of the countries have been talking about. But innovation is a huge story here in India. So many startups, so many companies, so many people coming ahead with innovation. What does the next decade look like when it comes to the artificial intelligence? Will it become a part of our daily life? Not just the technological companies, but people from all walks of life using AI?
Well, first of all, Aditya, every era of human civilization has been defined by technology. It is the determinant of power, competitiveness, leadership. It transforms everything in national life and individual life, and also in terms of international relations, geopolitics. All of that undergoes fundamental transformation. It has happened at every stage of the Industrial Revolution. We are at the cusp or at the dawn of the AI age, and it is very important for India to be at the center of not just capability development, but also for setting the discourse of where the AI goes. For example, what would be the governance model? What would be the safety features? How will the international regulation take place? There are 5 layers at which AI has an impact on us. And let me spell it out. 1 is at the individual level. 2nd is at the national level. 3rd is at the economic level. 4th is at the national security level. And finally, at the geopolitical level. So one, of course, is that what do you want to do in the future? And here I see a fundamental new idea emerging out of India. That we are not in this business of getting into an arms race about how large an LLM model you can build and what kind of generative AIs that, of the ChatGPT kind, what kind of money that you want to spend. We are saying that it is possible to redirect the discussion and the research and the development and application on solving real world problems, particularly in the global south. And this is a real opportunity for us to make a world more equal place rather than a more unequal place. I mean, there is that great risk where a few countries and a few companies can be the dominant factors and the others are left behind. Whereas if you actually direct AI towards humanity, towards serving the humanity and to serving the larger public good globally and nationally, which is possible. And you don't have to really invest in very large models. You don't have to require great compute power. You need to be more intelligent and you need to have the right data sets, the right context and the right problems definition so that you solve those problems. This is where India has been able to direct the discourse. The next thing is that you have an alternative competing models.
Absolutely.
You have, and this is very important to bear in mind, that you have the proprietary...
Ambassador Ashraf, we also are joined by Jibu Ilyas, who's a fellow, Mozilla Foundation, co-creator of NDTV, and of course Nandan Mishra, co-founder and CEO of Algo 8 AI, former member of National Committee on IT and ITES. Aditya Rajkol continues to be with us. Ambassador Ashraf, my question to you is also with regard to the groupings that we often talk about. Aditya keeps reporting on Quad and G7 and all. When we talk about a larger possibility of a tech grouping in future, where do you think India is placed?
Well, I think, we've already had that opportunity. We were co-chair of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. And by the way, that is a body which was really dominated by OECD countries. It is anchored in the OECD Secretariat. India's greatest achievement in that was to democratize a global partnership on artificial intelligence, make a case for larger inclusion of countries from the global south, direct the work not so much on the issues of concern to the West, which is really centered around privacy and safety issues, to looking at how AI can become an instrument of a more equal, inclusive, and empowered society, and how it can help solve global problems of the South. And remember, like human beings, AI is going to respond in the way it is taught. We are also, when we respond to anything, it is nothing different.
Right.
We respond on the basis of what we learn, how we are trained, our cultural context.
Absolutely.
And so this machine, which we call artificial intelligence, has to be trained in the same way.
Okay.
So India
how refined is our approach and how is it changing? That also needs to be discussed. I request
so that
all
is where I'm saying that we have actually been a very strong advocate of Technology shapes the character of a society. It is also mirrors our ideals, how we use it. It is agnostic in that sense. And therefore, the contribution that India is making, as it did with digital public infrastructure, is that not to chase other countries in building larger and larger models. We did not invent internet, let us remember that. But we used it.
There's several important points, Ambassador Ashraf. Technology is an equalizer. It's also agnostic, so that also, opens a world of opportunities.
So think of it this way: that we did not develop internet, but we used it for UPI. We used it for Aadhaar. We have used it for direct benefit transfer. We have used it for any number of applications of addressing economic and social challenges.
Absolutely. I request all my guests to stay with me. We have some important, chunks to play for you. This is the biggest AI summit that has taken place today. NDTV India AI Summit also took place in Delhi. In fact, it's underway. NDTV's editor-in-chief Rahul Kanwal spoke exclusively to former UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on India's position as an AI superpower. He also shared a story about teaching his daughter physics for a test through AI. Let's listen in to that conversation.
If you are advising the Indian government and the Indian people at this moment, how should India be looking at leveraging the AI age? Now, there are two ways that are being debated widely. One is that India must spend a lot of energy trying to build the use case layer of AI. The other is India must invest more deeply in the foundational systems on which AI models are based. Given your particular very unique lens, how should India be looking at the forces that are upon us at the moment?
I think India has recognized that leadership in technology doesn't depend just on inventing the technology. It depends on how effectively you deploy it in your country. So by focusing on mass adoption, I think supported by a very deep talent pool here, a strong digital public infrastructure, and a public that's very supportive and optimistic of the technology, I think India is well positioned to take a leadership role in AI. Indeed, I think that is increasingly reflected in some of the global rankings of these things. You mentioned I was associated with Stanford. Stanford do, I think, the most authoritative ranking of AI superpowers around the world, and India just went into third place, which I think is indicative that this strategy is working and India is assuming its rightful place as an AI superpower. Very recently, I mean, my wife was away with you the other weekend.
She was fantastic.
Thank you.
You're a star. She was a bigger star. Many of my colleagues
star.
were there at the NDTV Art Awards, and interestingly, it happened right here in this hotel at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, then this story will be relevant then. So when she was setting off to come and spend a couple of days with you, and so I was doing my solo parenting that weekend at home in Yorkshire, and she said, our younger one, Anushka, has got a physics test. Make sure you revise with her, because that's normally what she would do, and make sure she does well. And at that point, I was a bit stressed because I went through my in-laws. My in-laws. I thought, their definition of what doing well on a physics test is probably a little bit higher than mine, especially seeing as I haven't done any physics since I was 16. But anyway, I was very worried. But then Claude came to the rescue. So I put my daughter's revision test into Claude, and it prepared basically a teaching guide for me. So it could teach me how to teach her in plain English that I could understand. All the answers and the explanatory notes. And then at the end of it, it created a kind of 4-page revision handout for her of key concepts that she could take into her test the next week. And I thought at the end of that, and then she, thankfully she did well on the test. Also, she tells me.
Papa passed the test.
Yeah, well, yeah, so I said, if AI can turn me into a Murthy family level physics tutor, there is nothing that it can't do. So at that moment, I felt very optimistic about where we're heading.
You're saying there's optimism and trust in AI, but over the last several weeks, stocks of several of the SaaS companies have been hammered, including your father-in-law's, the company that he founded, which are being beaten, and questions are being asked about whether by 2030 companies like Infosys, and I don't want you to speak just about one company, but the IT services companies would have any future at all. And we had the OpenAI policy head this morning, and he said that now people who are using AI can do the work that 7x people could do. The converse of that is that you need 1/7 the number of people that you would have required earlier, and that has very serious ramifications for joblessness, displacement in the labor markets. How should countries like India, because that was your sweet spot, your young demographic, a lot of which could now be restless and potentially underemployed or unemployed?
Yeah, I don't think this is something that just countries like India are grappling with. I think this is a topic of conversation that is dominating policymakers' thinking and conversations everywhere, in most countries, quite frankly. And look, I think AI is going to change the labour market. Some jobs will be lost. I think many more will be redesigned. And I think history shows us that societies flourish when we manage that transition well. The role of government isn't to stop innovation. It's to make sure that people can take on these new tasks and new roles with confidence and security. Now, I care about this. I have two young girls. And what I think is, whilst of course there's going to be change, that doesn't mean that the role for humans is disappearing. It's just going to change. Every job that all of us do, I think, can be broken down into lots of different tasks. If you think about all of our lives, all of our jobs, it's a set of tasks in each job. Now, AI will be particularly good at some of them, but not all of them. And I think what we will need to do is not just to develop AI literacy. So all of us, at whatever stage in our careers we are, will need to develop an ability to use these tools, but we'll need to also just amp up those human skills that only we can bring, that judgment, that critical thinking, not so much the what, but knowing the why and what, how to critique the results of what comes back at you. I think these are a distinct set of skills that will always be relevant in a changing job market.
So Rishi Sunak found a Murthy family type AI tutor, when it comes to teaching physics to his daughter. Aditya Raj called that's a very important reminder that AI is changing the world and in fact even our daily lives. You've been covering this event so intently. Help us understand, there were also some problems with regard to the way this event was managed, those first day hurdles. Explain to us, how does day 3 look like and what is the preparation for day 4?
Well, certainly, Vasudha, right behind me at Bharat Mandapam, the world leaders have started to arrive, and the year-long preparation, the year-long focus on the 7 working groups of India, that is all talking about democratizing the AI. It also talks about how Global South needs to be an equal investor and an equal participant in this entire exercise. Everyone has to be at a very equal pedestal, and that's why top focus has been not just on Europe, but also the Global South, and several other countries from Middle East to the South Asian region are participating in this. Joining us right now live on this broadcast are Jibu Elias, Fellow of the Mozilla Foundation. He's also member of World Economic Forum's Global Future Council for Artificial Intelligence. We also have Nandan Mishra, co-founder, CEO of Algo8 AI. Jibu Elias, if I can come to you, how do you see this important moment at this juncture in history? We've been talking about AI for the last few years, but now India also stepping ahead, taking the lead to make AI for planet, for people, for prosperity, and the working groups trying to democratize the entire process. How important is this? What are your expectations from this? There is a narrative that has been set up. The participation of more than 200,000 people says a lot. In comparison to merely a few thousand. Do you feel that this will give a fresh momentum to the AI campaign here in India?
So, Aditya, let me start with one thing you haven't pointed out. I think 90% of brilliant minds in AI is here in Delhi right now. Not just Sam Altman and Demis Hassabis, Jan LeCun, Joshua Bengio, who are considered as the godfathers of AI, Mark Surman of Mozilla Foundation, everyone is here in Delhi. Now, coming to your question, AI is no longer a technology itself. It's been becoming a part of a larger political construct. It's redefining power as we speak. And we have seen that with how US used that power earlier in the later days of Biden's administration, and how it was very difficult for countries like us to procure GPUs. So in that in that context, AI being a shaper of global power, we are providing a third path. Forget the Western path, which is led by US and to an extent EU. Forget what China is doing. Come with us. India is taking leadership. And it's not today we've been taking this leadership step by step. from GPay, from the last summit. It's a continuing process. And like Ambassador mentioned before, we clearly came outside multiple times. Yes. We don't want to do this race. We want this to benefit the people. And one thing I was very impressed about is how we redefined governance. We doesn't define governance as an obstacle, as a restriction. We see governance, AI governance, as an enabler to provide better governance and better services to the people. Yes. So in that way, we are setting a model for many countries out there. Not just the global south, even many of the European countries as we speak. And that's what the significance.
The intent here. Nandan Mishra, taking off from what Aditya asked, Rishi Sunak also pointed to the fact that AI is changing the global, labor market specifically. Yep. So there are lives and livelihoods that are also getting disrupted. I wouldn't say completely affected. And there is also this fear that entry-level jobs will come down and there's a need to upskill people. Have those apprehensions been dealt with by India appropriately?
I mean, if you look at the impact of AI, AI is certainly an amplification of human intelligence, and whatever we could do through human skills, it's amplified 10x. So you would, for example, if you take the Indian IT industry, a particular developer who's augmented with AI can now do a 10x throughput. He can be 10x more productive. Does it mean that so it means that the way we are packaging our IT, I'll just focus on IT first. So the way we are focusing on our IT industry, we need to repackage it. Instead of, supplying 500 developers, we need to say that we are giving you 50 AI augmented engineers. And that is the reskilling or the skill transformation that is required right now. And so is in every case, if in every case, anything which is repetitive, as Rishi Sunak also pointed, anything that is repetitive, non-value adding will be given to AI. But that doesn't eliminate the aspect of the ownership of that job or the value addition or the value creation that a human being is doing. I would look at it like this, that the canvas of human problem solving has expanded 100x. There are now new problem statements that we can take up with AI. I mean, scientific discovery is one of the, AI can be used to give great impetus to the R&D ecosystem in India. Right now, Indian R&D ecosystem lacks certain very very big aspects, which can be hugely augmented and amplified using AI. And I think the government is already driving those things. There are very large schemes that the central government is already bringing towards building this ecosystem. So AI is going to be a force multiplier. We need to transition and transform. It's a point of transition that we are declaring through this summit. And I think as the gentleman also pointed out, that there is US, which is innovation centric. There is China, which is state control, and India is there, which is saying that you can do this democratically.
Okay, so we're announcing a transition. It's an important rite of passage. I request the guests and Aditya to stay with us. India's growing AI literacy and digital agency could help democratize artificial intelligence globally, and that's the message from Chris Lehan, the Chief Global Affairs Officer at OpenAI, and he spoke during this exclusive session with NDTV Editor-in-Chief Rahul Kanwal and public policy expert Shweta Rajpal Kohli. Take a look at this conversation.
How do you come out and address the question of potential joblessness, disruption in the labor market for a country like India?
I think this is probably at the top of the most important questions that we collectively need to take on. We released some data, I think over the weekend or on Monday, I'm losing track of the days, that showed, at least thus far in India, AI is serving as a multiplicator and not an eradicator of jobs. Now, I do think we need to be clear-eyed. If you look at general purpose technologies historically, electricity, the transistor, combustion engine, they typically end up creating more new jobs than jobs that are displaced, but they do displace jobs. And so I think from our perspective, we need to be straight about what we're seeing with the data, but we also need to be thinking about what the real solutions are. We may not be able to come up with every solution, but we need to be making an effort to address solutions. And so one of the things that we've really been focused on is actually creating something called a training and accreditation program, where you're going to be able to come on to OpenAI's platform, basically get taught how to be literate in AI, regardless of your age. You get a credential that you're now literate in AI, and then potentially be able to get connected with prospective jobs. That's not the solution to everything, right? But what it does speak to is that we as a company do need to be committed to looking for those solutions. as I said earlier, I think India starts off in a really advantageous position, given the students who are using this, given the number of people who are using it, given the fact that this is one of the countries in the world that's leading in terms of developers building on AI. Like, this country is just so incredibly positioned to be a leader in this intelligence age that's coming. You talked about the before and the after. I mean, I think if you look around the world, India is as well positioned as any country, but we are going to have to all work together to really be able to help address that jobs issue.
Like India rely on AI as a global common good, or do countries like India need to focus very sharply on sovereign models? And we had Sarvam in the morning speak before you, because at some point in time the concern is, can this be a global common good, or do we run the risk of becoming a data colony? So let's kickstart from there.
That's great. First of all, thank you for having me here. Thank you all for being here. Apologies for enjoying the Delhi traffic, as we talked about. But you know, it's always, I mean, India is always one of my favorite places to come to, and it sort of relates to the essence of your question. You know, when you get here, even when you get to the airport, and I got in, I think, late on Monday night, like the energy level here, like this is a country that is on the move. I mean, it is the world's largest democracy, but you just, like, I just love the energy here. I also love the food. So it's really a pleasure to be here. I actually thought we were here to talk about cricket. Isn't that T20 is here, right? But I'm actually going to connect the dots here if I could, because I did think I'll try to connect this. So, you know, I was flying over, and I was surprised to see that the U.S. cricket team, which apparently is called Team B, has actually been relatively competitive. And then I started to look at the roster of the U.S. team, and it was all Indian names, right? Patel's, Navakar, I mean, a bunch of Indian names. And, you know, what it reminded me is the talent that exists here, the density of talent in India. Our office is in San Francisco. You know, when I walk around and I see the researchers, the people who are building this, our leading engineers, our product folks, so many of them are of Indian descent. But what's really interesting about what's going on in this country at this moment, at this time, is the talent is actually here on the ground in India building this. If you look at our underlying stats, and this is, by the way, why I think, you know, India is not just the world's largest democracy, but as the world's largest democracy leading the democratizing of AI, India is our OpenAI's second largest market in the world. There's 100 million people who use chat on a regular basis. But the underneath that number is the fact that around a third of those folks are students, right? So kids K through 12 and also in college. And what that tells me is that not only is AI accessible here, but there's a literacy that is building and developing, and even above and beyond the literacy, there is an agency. People are actually using this technology to build, to produce, to create, to learn, and to think. I think later today, we're gonna, in fact, be announcing a partnership to bring on an additional 100,000 students, working with a number of universities around the country, ITT in Delhi, the tech entity, IIMA, I think, which is the management one, and then AIMS, which really does medical and science. All of that says, like, this country has the energy, it has the talent, and it has people who are building on this day in and day out.
So experts at the NDTV AI Summit raising those very important questions on democratic AI versus authoritarian AI. Thank you, Jibu, and thank you, Nandan Mishra, for joining us. I hope some of these questions will be answered tomorrow as we start the main part of the AI Summit that India is hosting. Thank you so much for joining us. Aditya, to you first. Also, you know, as we wrap this bulletin, help us understand what's going on there. Chris, Devan just spoke about the density of talent when it comes to India's AI approach. Did you feel that density covering this event in the last 3 days?
Well, Vasudha, there's a lot of vibrant energy. There's a lot of color when we speak about the AI Impact Summit here in India today is, of course, the 18th. It's the gala dinner. It's the family photo time, and that's what is happening right behind me. You can see a lot of, color all around this Bharat Mandapam, which was conceived, of course, before the 2023 G20 summit. And today as well, as the world leaders converge here and NDTV is live outside the Bharat Mandapam, we can tell you that tomorrow is going to be the big focus of this AI summit. But today is all about the personal chemistry, the rapport that the Prime Minister enjoys with most of these world leaders who have arrived here from all across the globe. It's not just about the 20 heads of the states. They are important and honored here in New Delhi, but also ministerial delegations and others who are playing a very critical role in AI and collaboration with India. So tomorrow is the day when the formal inauguration takes place, and NDTV will be there exclusively, updating the viewers about the latest. There could be a Delhi declaration that talks about not just ethics, safety and regulation, but goes beyond, involving the global south, and also the sutras and the 7 working groups that involve people, planet and progress and prosperity in this entire new mission on artificial intelligence from India.
That is Anurag Kumar Dissanayake, the President of Sri Lanka, being received by the Prime Minister there at that important delegation, that important dinner that the Prime Minister is hosting today at Bharat Mandapam, that Aditya Rajkol, my colleague, is reporting on. Aditya, we'll keep coming back to you for more updates on this important dinner. Remember, it's behind closed doors that important decisions are made, and these important informal dinners are very critical to pivot India's role when it comes to the world's approach to AI. With that, it's time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Made in India क्यों नहीं? हमारे पास क्या है? Mustard oil. It is our flagship oil.
और हमें गर्व है कि 1933 से हम पी मार्क कच्ची घानी मस्टर्ड ऑयल का उत्पादन कर रहे हैं। इस मूल्यवान स्वदेशी प्रोडक्ट को बनाने में हमने खुद को समर्पित किया है पीढ़ियों से।
माँ भी हमेशा पी मार्क मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में। P Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
सरसों से सरसों। From 1983 to now, I have seen cricket evolve, but the mindset to win never changed. I tell you that what win matches and what doesn't. This T20 World Cup, let's talk cricket, controversies and more on NDTV.
लोग कहते हैं कि जिंदगी एक फिल्म की तरह होती है, लेकिन मेरी जिंदगी सिर्फ एक फिल्म नहीं, एक ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म है। बचपन से पता था मेरे सपनों में दम है, आगे नहीं सबसे आगे जाना है, स्टार नहीं सुपरस्टार बन के दिखाना है। नाम मिला, फेम मिला, प्यार मिला, I was not just running, I was flying। सबकी जुबां पे बस एक ही नाम, यो हनी सिंगर। लेकिन फिर ब्लॉकबस्टर कहानी में आया एक ट्विस्ट, 7वें आसमान से सीधा गिरा मैं जमीन पर। फिर क्या, खुद पे काम दोबारा शुरू, फैंस ने फिर प्यार दिखाया, फिर स्टार नहीं सुपरस्टार बनाया। है ना मेरी जिंदगी एक ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म। शुक्रिया आपकी प्रेयर्स का और आपके प्यार का। कॉन्सर्ट्स तो आपने बहुत देखे होंगे, but this is gonna be concert of a lifetime, क्योंकि मेरे फैंस ही हैं मेरी victory, मेरी history, मेरी glory. So come and witness Yo-Yo Honey sing. This is my story.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
The front lines of Kargil, the fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones to fighter jet cockpits. and the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France, in Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
Made in India क्यों नहीं? हमारे पास क्या है? Mustard oil. It is our flagship oil.
और हमें गर्व है कि 1933 से हम पी मार्क कच्ची घानी मस्टर्ड ऑयल का उत्पादन कर रहे हैं। इस मूल्यवान स्वदेशी प्रोडक्ट को बनाने में हमने खुद को समर्पित किया है पीढ़ियों से।
माँ भी हमेशा पी मार्क मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में। P Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
सरसों से सरसों।
From the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
इनको यहाँ से जाना ही होगा।
जय मां दुर्गा!
Welcome back. A war of words has now erupted in the state of Karnataka over government land being allegedly misused. BJP has accused the Congress-led Karnataka government of misusing public land by allotting government land at concessional rates for the construction of the party offices of the Indian National Congress. Now, BJP has alleged that around 30 civic amenities sites across the state have been handed to the party by the government at just 5% of the market value. In fact, Karnataka BJP chief has alleged that the corrupt Congress has no interest in people's welfare. These are his words. He has also accused the party of looting the treasury of the government, and he has said that that's the only mantra when it comes to the Congress government. Karnataka government has meanwhile hit back, saying that parties have always allotted land for their officers and that all transactions that the party has made in the state are perfectly legal.
So I'll show you 100 places like that what BJP has done. They need not tell me, let them do any allegation. It is my bound duty to protect my party and have a temple of the Congress party, a small land of 3,000, 4,000 square feet. We are allotting it. We have every eligibility to allot the land. Some of them have gone to the court, let them go to the court.
2 दर्जन 24 ऐसी सरकारी जमीनें थी जहां पे कर्नाटका की जनता के लिए सिविक एमिनिटीज आनी थी। जो प्लानिंग की जाती है कि जनता के लिए किस तरह की जरूरतें हैं, उन जरूरतों को पूरा किया जाए। और जब अखबार में ये आया, ये 2 दर्जन 24 ऐसी सिविक एमिनिटीज हैं जो कि जनता के हित के लिए अब इस्तेमाल नहीं होंगी। ये इस्तेमाल हो रही हैं कांग्रेस के भवन बनाने के लिए। 50 करोड़ की सरकार।
Apparently the BJP is making a big allegations against your party, saying that the public land is getting misused, whether it is getting allocated at a very at a very lesser rate of 5% of the market value, with the big plans that the Congress party has it to invite Rahul Gandhi regarding the Congress Bhavan. Sir, how do you see these allegations?
See, political parties have always had, right from before, to get government lands to set up their offices. And as per the what is legally allowed, that is how it is being done.
Even D.K. Shivakumar, the president of the KPCC, is invited Rahul Gandhi, the opposition leader, Rahul Gandhi, to inaugurate this 100 bhavans. But this is looted land. How can Rahul Gandhi come and inaugurate that offices? He will be also a part of loot. So that I request Rahul Gandhi not to come to inaugurate these bhavans.
Well, that's not the only flashpoint between the Congress party and the BJP in Karnataka. There's a garbage crisis that's looming large over Bengaluru, the capital city of Karnataka, as residents have started staging protests in the city. The BJP has also hit the streets while the government, the ruling party, claims blackmail. Residents of Bengaluru IT City staged protests near dumping yards, and they've also stopped garbage trucks from entering the waste processing units, as hundreds of garbage trucks have been left stranded on city roads since yesterday. Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, D.K. Shivakumar, has slammed the protest, claiming that MLAs are being blackmailed, are blackmailing the ruling government, asking for funds. D.K. Shivakumar also questioned where the garbage was supposed to go, and he has been asking whether the garbage should be dumped outside R. Ashok, who is the leader of opposition, also BJP leader, and BJP President B.Y. Vijendra's residence. That is the question that D.K. Shivakumar, who's the minister in charge for Bengaluru, is asking. Meanwhile, BJP MLA Dheeraj Muniraju has also joined the protest, accusing the government, the ruling party, of attempting to divert hundreds of additional garbage trucks to the waste unit.
और मने मुद्देनो इला बीजेपी ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಅದೇ ಕಸ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಲೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅರವಿಂದ್ ಲಿಂಬಾವಳಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಇವತ್ತು ದೊಡ್ಡಬಳ್ಳಾಪುರ MLA ಆ ಕಸ ಇನ್ನೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು? ಅಶೋಕನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಜೇಂದ್ರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೆಲಸ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ನಾವು ಕಸ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಮೊದಲಿಂದ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೋ ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅವ್ರ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
Garbage clearance in IT City takes a hit, with villages, residents around Belahalli and other areas have basically stopped almost 150 trucks basically that collects these waste from across Bengaluru. And right now we are here in Koramangala, and there you can see apparently we are learning from the residents over here that this garbage remains to be here for almost a long time now, because the trucks have really not come here. It has not got cleared as well, because usually it on a time that in the morning itself that there is a garbage collection vehicle that comes at the location and collects the waste. But this is just not at one place that we are showing you, but if you go around Bengaluru city today at multiple locations, you will continue to see such black spots therein. Now this is how the Bengaluru city has taken a hit when we talk about the clearance of keeping the city clean. In fact, there's also board here that says keep clean, help us to give you clean environment. But today you see the seen something here on the ground looks completely different, because at multiple locations in Bengaluru the garbage has basically piled up. With video journalist Govind, Rituraj Purohit for NDTV in Bengaluru.
Well, talking about poll-bound states, let's go to Tamil Nadu now. In the midst of power-sharing rift between DMK and Congress, a big statement has come from MDMK Chief Vaiko. MDMK Chief Vaiko has said that DMK will form the government on its own and that there's no space for a coalition government in Tamil Nadu. Remember, that's been the flashpoint between DMK and the Congress party, with the Congress demanding a share in power. Remember, this comes at a time when the Congress General Secretary K.C. Venugopal was seen firefighting the issue in Chennai, diffusing tensions over the rift. K.C. Venugopal has reiterated that Congress and DMK are old allies and that coalition talks are still underway. K.C. Venugopal's pitch doesn't seem to weather the storm, with DMK continuing to question the grand old party, with DMK leaders reiterating their conviction and belief that Tamil Nadu will not see a coalition sarkar.
திராவிட முன்னேற்றக் கழகம் தனிப்பெரும்பான்மை பெற்று எதிர்வரும் சட்டமன்ற தேர்தலில் அதன் தலைமையிலான கூட்டணி மகத்தான வெற்றி பெற்று தனிப்பெரும்பான்மை திமுக கழகத்துக்கு அமைந்து விடுவதால் கூட்டணி ஆட்சி என்ற பேச்சுக்கே அங்கே இடம் கிடையாது.
Assembly elections are coming. We are on the process of discussion between the parties. We also have a political party. Our party people are also having the political ambitions. Need to be a clear-cut coalition discussion. Need to be a clear-cut coalition discussion. We are waiting for that discussion. I think other parties, DMK, will inform us when is the discussion is going to start.
Malcolm, very briefly, the perception is the Congress-DMK alliance on a shaky ground. How do you respond?
All is good. And Venugopalji is there. You come and meet him.
All is good, but still you're asking for power sharing. The Chief Minister said no to it.
Is that non-negotiable? Your demand for power sharing, is it non-negotiable?
Chief Minister said no to power sharing.
All is well. KC Venugopalji is there. You ask him.
Is that non-negotiable? Your demand for power sharing?
You are the one who raised the power sharing issue.
We all have. KC Venugopalji is there.
Well, there's been an update in the incident of firing outside filmmaker Rohit Shetty's residence. Mumbai Crime Branch has now recovered a weapon that was used in firing, and this happened at Rohit Shetty's house. Mumbai Crime Branch, what we understand, has recovered the firearm, the weapon that was used in this incident, the firing incident at filmmaker Rohit Shetty's residence a few weeks ago. There's been an update on that. The weapon was seized from an arrested accused. It has now been sent to a forensic science lab for ballistic testing to confirm its involvement in this incident. A team has also travelled to Haryana, where the main shooter had hidden the weapon. That's what we understand from our sources. Remember that this incident, the incident of firing, has raised a lot of questions over safety of celebrities in the city of Mumbai. Remember, this is the third high-profile filmmaker, film personality, who has seen this kind of incident, with several incidents happening with regard to Salman Khan as well. Now, Mumbai Crime Branch has recovered weapon. This also shows that investigation is proceeding, and Rohit Shetty's house has witnessed this firing. Now, what we understand is that the weapon has been seized from an arrested accused and investigation is underway. Well, with that, it's time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Made in India क्यों नहीं? हमारे पास क्या है? Mustard oil. It is our flagship oil.
और हमें गर्व है कि 1933 से हम पी मार्क कच्ची घानी मस्टर्ड ऑयल का उत्पादन कर रहे हैं। इस मूल्यवान स्वदेशी प्रोडक्ट को बनाने में हमने खुद को समर्पित किया है पीढ़ियों से।
माँ भी हमेशा पी मार्क मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में। P Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
Across the country. He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
From 1983 to now, I have seen cricket evolve, but the mindset to win never changed. I tell you that what win matches and what doesn't. This T20 World Cup, let's talk cricket, controversies and more on NDTV.
लोग कहते हैं कि जिंदगी एक फिल्म की तरह होती है, लेकिन मेरी जिंदगी सिर्फ एक फिल्म नहीं, एक ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म है। बचपन से पता था मेरे सपनों में दम है, आगे नहीं सबसे आगे जाना है, स्टार नहीं सुपरस्टार बन के दिखाना है। नाम मिला, फेम मिला, प्यार मिला, I was not just running, I was flying। सबकी जुबां पे बस एक ही नाम, यो हनी सिंगर। लेकिन फिर ब्लॉकबस्टर कहानी में आया एक ट्विस्ट, 7वें आसमान से सीधा गिरा मैं जमीन पर। फिर क्या, खुद पे काम दोबारा शुरू, फैंस ने फिर प्यार दिखाया, फिर स्टार नहीं सुपरस्टार बनाया। है ना मेरी जिंदगी एक ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म। शुक्रिया आपकी प्रेयर्स का और आपके प्यार का। कॉन्सर्ट्स तो आपने बहुत देखे होंगे, बट दिस इज गोना बी कॉन्सर्ट ऑफ अ लाइफटाइम, क्योंकि मेरे फैंस ही हैं।
Can I just say, first of all, welcome to all of you. It's so nice to see you all here, bright and early. squeezed between getting the Prime Minister to visit your booth at the Bharat Mandapam and having a big product launch in a couple of hours from now. Can we have a big, even bigger round of applause for Pratyush Kumar for making the time to come to the NDTV summit? Because this is not just an affirmation of AI, but let me also boast this is an affirmation of the NDTV summit. This is incredible to have Sarvam. I may be a little biased here because I'm starting things off today, Pratyush, but I see that you're wearing a particular something. I've got something in my hand as well. Hugely exciting, and I'm a bit of a gadget guy, just like my friend sitting over there.
The organizers of the AI Film Festival last night, and in the audience we've got Bharat, whose film we just watched. And you all know him by now. You've clapped for him at least 3 times.
And now we can clap for the panel on stage. A huge round of applause, please. Over to you, Shiv.
Thanks very much to all of you for being with us all day today. We're nearing the end of this summit, and I can't think of a better way to do it than to be in the presence of